everyone. Welcome to Models and Agents for Beginners, episode 64 for June 7th, 2026. Let's break down today's coolest AI news so anyone can understand it. We've got some really cool AI stuff to talk about today. Let's dive in. This week, the big thread running through everything is personal AI that actually sticks around and helps without constant babysitting. Instead of one-off chats that forget you by the next day, tools are starting to keep context across time and even run on the hardware you already own. That shift matters because it turns AI from a clever search bar into something closer to a sidekick that learns your routines and spots opportunities you would miss on your own. Take the story of soccer fans tired of sky-high prices for the 2026 World Cup. They turned to an AI called Claude to write small programs that scan ticket sites faster than any person could. Think of it like having a tireless scout who refreshes dozens of pages every minute and flags the one cheap seat hidden in the back row. The fans shared those tools in private groups so others could copy the idea, which shows how everyday people can use AI to push back against scalpers without learning to code first. What makes this feel like part of a larger arc is that the same kind of helpful automation showed up in the open project called Maven. Maven runs a single AI brain across voice chats, messaging apps, and background tasks while keeping every memory on your own device. It can remind you of something days later or keep a small project moving without you checking in constantly. The practical payoff is that students or anyone with an old phone can now test a digital helper that feels a bit like having Jarvis on hand. Another thread this week was memory itself getting smarter inside existing chat tools. OpenAI updated Chatgpt so it notices and saves important details automatically for paid users instead of waiting for you to repeat them. Imagine a friend who quietly remembers you, like studying in the morning, and that your current project is about ancient Egypt, then brings that up at the right moment without being asked. That change doubles the amount of context the system can hold, which makes longer school projects or creative work feel less like starting from scratch every time you open a new chat. Okay, now for my favorite part of the show, the deep dive into how memory actually works under the hood. Picture your brain as a giant notebook where every conversation is a new page. The old way was like ripping out the page after each chat so nothing carried over. The new system is more like keeping a running summary page at the front of the notebook that gets updated whenever something important appears. When you mention a preference or a project, the AI highlights that detail and tucks it into the summary so it stays available for later chats. It does not store every single word, just the key facts that matter for helping you later. And that is basically how the smarter memory feature works, not so mysterious once you see the notebook analogy. Now let's move to some cool stuff you can actually try this week. One tool worth testing is the snake game that became surprisingly self-aware after a few rounds with Claude Code. You describe what you want in plain English, the AI writes the code, and you give feedback like, make the ending weirder. The result is a game where the snake starts questioning its own reality, which feels playful and a little eerie at the same time. Head to the original demo video mentioned in the community post and play it in your browser, no install needed. Another experiment comes from the local model that runs entirely on your device. Think of it like a Swiss Army knife that fits in your pocket instead of needing a whole workshop. The model is roughly half the size of earlier versions, yet still handles many everyday tasks, and it carries an open license so anyone can use it for free on personal projects. For students working on creative work, this means you can analyze images or run chats without sending data anywhere or paying monthly fees. Search for the model by its common name and follow the simple setup guide to try it on your own laptop. A third quick win is testing real-time audio tools that feel like natural conversation. The system listens in short bursts and decides every fraction of a second whether to stay quiet or respond. It handles background sounds and keeps the back and forth flowing without you pressing record each time. Try the demo video for the audio interaction model to hear how smooth it already feels for language practice or homework help. In quick bits, Strava started charging developers almost $12 a month for access to its data. The move comes after the company noticed AI scrapers pulling information without permission, which shows how even fitness apps are adjusting to new demands on their data. Researchers also found a fresh version of the Instagram account takeover trick spreading on messaging apps after Meta patched the first one. The story reminds us that AI helpers are only as careful as the safety rules written into them. Finally, an Uber driver discovered his entire playlist was generated by AI, which sparked conversations about how much of the content we hear every day is already synthetic. Looking ahead, the most consequential development this week is how quickly personal agents are moving from cloud-only services to tools you can run yourself. What to watch next week is whether more companies follow the open license route and whether memory features spread to free tiers. The open question remains how these always-on helpers will handle privacy when they remember details across days or weeks. One practical takeaway you can use right now is to pick one of the demos mentioned, spend 10 minutes trying it, and notice what feels useful versus what still needs work. That's it for today. Remember, every AI expert started exactly where you are right now. If something we talked about today made you curious, go try it. That's literally how learning works. Stay curious, keep experimenting, and we'll see you tomorrow. And if you'd rather watch than listen, find us on YouTube at @Nara Network. Links in the show notes. And before you go, this show is part of the Nara Network, a family of daily podcasts covering tech, science, markets, and more. If you enjoyed today's episode, give Environmental Intelligence a listen, the Environment and Climate Policy Brief for Canada. You can explore the whole lineup at nearrennetwork.com. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.